magical girl, Princess Tutu, who fights evil through ballet.
What fun!
Princess Tutu is not even a real princess. That's this girl, Rue, who turns evil because she thinks she's the daughter of a giant evil crow. And then this guy starts out as an asshole, and is really just a reincarnated knight out to save the prince, who needs saving because he's lost all of his emotions. And there's so many anthropomorphic animals running throughout this show, it makes you wonder. You might confuse with any random episode of The Muppet Show. Which begs the question, couldn't Duck have just saved the world as a big bird ballerina? Speaking of giant bird shit, Crystal Triangle.
None of you have seen Crystal Triangle, right? None of you? You have?
Oh, sorry.
I pity you. Because the first time Mike ever showed it to me, my brain dissolved into a lumpy puddle of mush that went surprisingly well with tortilla chips and cheese. The main character is Indiana Jones, and as the anime goes on, he turns into Rocky Balboa and eventually Goku by pulling superpowers out of his ass. This is around the time the son of Rasputin shows up and starts firing nuclear missiles from his hand-mounted grenade launcher. Then aliens attack. But it's okay because the hot female lead finds out that God is a gigantic baby space caterpillar. And then she kills it. The main character then gains the ability to shoot laser beams out of a fork. And everyone goes home happy. Crystal Triangle is pretty bad, but at least it defies expectations. I mean, I never thought I would have to use the phrase giant baby space caterpillar when talking about any anime other than Bleach.
Oh, shit!
Star Wars is generally one of those series that, despite nearly constant violence, seldom kills anything with a face. But there is one glaring exception. Every Jedi, along with telekinesis and mind control, has the power to be pwned like a bitch, whether it's grammatically appropriate or not. They use this power with depressing frequency, probably because if they ever get laid, they have to turn emo and jump into a volcano. And in the end, the only Jedi left is Tom Potts, who would never have gotten laid anyway because he runs slower than his sister. Now, speaking of space virgins, last time on Spoiler the Panel, we gave you a reading list to prepare you for our spoilers on Xenosaga. It included books on such topics as psychology, theology, quantum physics, and porn. I hope you finished it because you need expertise in each of these topics just to understand Xenosaga. It follows that anyone who has completed all 3 games really needs to get laid. So let's begin. This is Jesus. This is Jesus' Christ. Any questions? No? Good. Here's the reading list for part 2 of our Xenosaga split. I know you must be disappointed, but the amount of time it'll take to study this stuff is roughly equivalent to the amount of time you'd spend watching Xenosaga's cutscenes. So it's kind of like you're playing the game all over again.
Sticking on the sci-fi theme, Outlaw Star. This is going to be the worst one because we don't have video. But you'll figure it out. Outlaw Star was made in Japan, but I'm not sure it counts as anime because anime to me describes something good from Japan. So instead I think I'll just call it ass. That would be audio, yeah. I mean, it's kind of how like .hack could be called an MMO, except it isn't. It's more of what like World of Warcraft would be like if it were gay and killed people, instead of being straight and killing people like it does now. Also, there were pedophiles. Outlaw Star was kind of an amalgam anime, taking aspects from Cowboy Bebop, Kenshin, Ghost in the Shell, and Escaflowne, and putting it in a blender with some shit about a treasure galaxy and an anime cat girl. I want to scar you into a coma. The result is a delightful urine-flavored milkshake, which slightly resembles a Japanese version of Star Trek. The most badass part of Outlaw Star is Gene's gun, which shoots magic bullets. This is a large improvement over the last magic-powered gun featured in Final Fantasy Unlimited, which ran solely off the power of dramatic monologue. Now, see, at this point, we were supposed to have a video. And the video was supposed to show a long scene from Yeah? Hold on. It was supposed to show a long scene of a character firing a gun, and it was going to take about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Don't forget the loading the bullets.
Yeah. One, 3, 4, 5 bullets in this gun.
And each one has its own story.
Yes.
And then at the end of 1 minute and 30 seconds, which would have been told in this video, he was getting ready to fire the gun, and what would have happened as the puff blew up the screen was...
Never gonna give you up.
We're never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. And that would have been awesome. Hit again. 13. Hit it again.
13.
Cowboy Bebop! Cowboy Bebop was the first in a long line of animes based off of music, beating out other great ideas such as ninja ragtime, zombie polka, and homosexual disco. The main character, Spike, is a space cowboy. And when he isn't starring in Brokeback Saturn, now playing on fanfiction.net, or losing his eye due to an unfortunate stapler accident, he's generally failing to catch bad guys for money. He's joined by a white Mr. T, a former stripper, an extremely intelligent animal, and I'm. All of whom also suck at bounty hunting, especially when you consider that some of their targets have been clowns, 5-year-old children, and Andy. Then Spike's girlfriend dies and his rival dies, and he falls down conveniently placed stairs that didn't seem to be there before, but dies. And then the movie was made. After Cowboy, a sequel was designed called Pirate Boogaloo, but that was unfortunately put on indefinite hold to make way for Samurai Champloo. And as we all know, Champloo is Japanese for rap music as composed by the sound team of Persona 3. Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo is exactly the same as Cowboy Bebop, right down. What, you like that? Samurai Champloo is exactly the same as Cowboy Bebop, right down to the 2 badass main characters, the retard that follows them, and the over-intelligent pet. Samurai Champloo takes place during the Edo era of feudal Brooklyn, New York, and involves a search for a samurai who smells like sunflowers, not blood and feces, which is what most people in the feudal era smelled like. I don't know if Samurai Champloo is how the Japanese actually see the black community, but if I wanted racism, I could have watched BET, played Gunbound, or hell, even watched The Boondocks for better fight scenes, more plot, and a pimp named Slickback.
Is a continuing series that simultaneously never ages and yet always seems to be trapped in the 1970s. Despite being a very thin man in skinny trousers, Lupin himself has unlimited space to carry a gun, smoke bombs, inflatable dolls of himself, fake versions of whatever he's just stolen, a hologram projector, self-replicating lifelike face masks of Inspector Zenigata. Lupin does not simply use Hammer Space, he owns beachfront property there. Goemon's sword can cut through anything. Buildings, airplanes, the New York City subway system. As you can imagine, this comes in very handy from time to time. Anytime there's a buxom woman in the room, it is Fujiko. I don't even care if Fujiko is already in the room, one of them is a fucking hologram. And finally, the seriousness of any plot can be judged by how often you see Jigen's eyes. 0 to 1, hard-boiled crime drama. People will die. More than 4 times, Lupin and the gang are out to steal the crown jewels off of a giant cat who rules over a city of clowns. Speaking of Catholicism, Spice and Wolf.
What? Spice and Wolf is an anime that takes place in medieval Europe. It's about a trader named Lawrence and his wolf god companion named Horo. Instead of having swords and sorcery, Spice and Wolf has currency exchange and furry bait. This means it does not appeal to people looking for a questing anime, and it does appeal to people who prefer economics and furries. If you were one of these people, please call me when the panel is over. Now on to the spoilers.